The first one is for all of those making commitment this afternoon. I forgot to mention to you that like about 4:30, Jenny Beatrice from our communications department will be here, and she's going to take photos. So we want individual photos of those who are new, or if for some reason you never had one taken. And then she will be taking some group as well. So those who are not making commitment, again, you're welcome to use the room, but I know from experience that it really is like herding cats to get associates to get their pictures taken. So if you could just kind of help by allowing that to happen. Okay, second thing, and this is for everybody. For everybody. Thank you. Some of you I know are not going to be back tomorrow, so whenever you are leaving today, and we're sorry if you can't be with us tomorrow, because tomorrow's the fun part where we're going to try to pull some of this together. But if you can't, you can't. But then our tomorrow at the end of our day at noontime, I put some boxes out on the table here. So as you leave, will you please put in your evaluations, which are in your folder, and you can kind of be checking as you go. One of the questions at the end of that would be to ask you what you would prefer, and we'll honor it as best we can, for our dates for our next year's assembly, dates and times. But anyhow, so name tags, evaluations, any papers that you are not going to use, we will recycle. So there's a recycle box out there. And then the last thing is the folders. They are yours if you want them. If you're going to go home and throw them somewhere, throw them in the box out here and we'll reuse them next year. So, however that works. But the boxes are on the same table out here where you did your registration this morning. Okay? Thank you so much, and I turn this over now to Jim Oleskevich, who is the chairperson of our Associate Advisory.
Thank you, Betty. In the years past, we've had a business meeting, and we're still calling this a business meeting. And what we have done in the past is have each of the committees give their report. So this year, we've changed a little bit to kind of save time. And so Peggy's put all the reports out online and asked all of us to bring a copy. I don't know who has done that. There were one copy on each table today. I didn't see it on our table, so I don't know if somebody else picked it up. Hopefully you have a copy of all those reports. What you should have is the Associate Advisory Report. There's a Strategic Planning Report that is in 2013, and there are 5 committee reports. So what I would like to do is to open up, have a large group sharing as far as any questions you might have about any of those reports or any suggestions you might have. Because I know all our committees are looking for input, help, volunteers, anything like that. So at this point in time, I'm going to open it up for questions and suggestions you might have. Anybody decided on questions? If it's confusing, I just got a question about it. One particular committee or anything else. We can go down the list if you want. I can just name the committee. If anybody has a question about that, we can sure go that way. About the first one we'll try, how about the Associate Advisory Board? And I may ask for input from the board members on those, on the various committees. Any questions on that one?
I was just curious, Jim, if the dates on that are right? Because it's accomplished April 2011 to May 2012, and since we're in 2013.
There was a current committee report. Peggy Andrews?
That's an error. Yeah.
Do we have a current one yet?
The Associate Advice Board. May 2012 through June 2013. Sorry, thank you. Get you.
Who is the Matrix Associate Group?
Okay, section 26. Section 26.
The Matrix Associate Group, can y'all hear me? The Matrix Associate Group is made up of associates and sisters of St. Joseph, and it is our sectional group. We gather twice a year and we meet among ourselves when it's not the whole group at other times during the year to celebrate sharing of the heart and ritual. No, it is not St. Louis. We are from Indianapolis, Green Bay, Seattle, St. Louis, Terre Haute, Indiana, and Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Grant.
Did I leave something out?
No, that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it, Nancy?
Grant.
Grant, New Mexico. So we live all around the country.
I was just going to mention that, that point B about discuss from the Matrix Associate Group, those ideas on restructuring, et cetera. They came and made some suggestions to the board, which we invite from everyone. We didn't pick up on theirs at this point because what they're suggesting is what we're doing this weekend, basically. So out of this weekend, plus some ideas that they had and have already been feeding into this this weekend, then I think we will be able to go back to talk about some of that. But I think that's why that is on their report, the board's report.
Just in case you're interested, I did bring the proposal with me.
Thanks, Walt.
I just have a question about the
the B there, it says affirm that which will promote opportunities for spiritual and educational growth. So does that mean that there's a committee that's planning more opportunities?
Under the advisory board. I think anything's coming up will be coming out of this assembly we have now. That's on there.
But also, I just wanted to mention the Associate Leadership Development Committee. And all of you are pretty well aware of one of the things that they're working on right now is just kind of an ongoing spiritual development. And so this past, spring? When is this? This is spring. So a couple months ago, they offered Suzanne Didlin and Sandra Cudahy for each of our associate communities. We invited an associate and a sister to attend, and the focus was on sharing state of the heart, because we know that is at the core of what happens when we come together. And then in a couple months in the fall, there will be some follow-up to that. So that is a committee that is working on some ongoing development.
Thanks, Becky.
I have been told that in 2 weeks there will be a special presentation at St. Norbert College on the origins and the history of the community. And some of you are probably aware of it, but a concern that I have is that the preservation of some of this oral presentation that will be given, and I would like for the Assembly Board to look into the possibilities of further preserving that so that it's not lost to us.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Anybody else want to ask questions or make comments? I don't think that warn you all out today, because usually when we have a meeting like this, we get lots of questions.
Right here. Come on, Dave. You don't have any of the various committees. Some of it I've never heard of.
Question was, do we have anybody, we have some, I can't see that there's somebody from every committee here. I know there's somebody that had to leave early. Particular committee that you're interested in?
No, I don't know a lot of these things, about a lot of these things. I don't know if I just didn't hear about it. Maybe I did.
Because I think they all have their goals and tasks on there and accomplishments, so. Turn it back over to Peggy.
Sorry, but a couple of things did just occur to me. First of all, at least a couple of our committees for sure need, not would just like to have, but really need some new membership. The Associate Finance Committee needs new membership, so does the Volunteer Ministry Committee. Maybe the others do too, I have to think about it. But we would love to have your presence and your ideas and so on. And, we do conference calls with our with our meetings, all of them. So you can be anywhere in the province and still be a member of that committee. So I would ask you, if you have either expertise or no expertise, but some real interest, we would love to have you for that. The other thing, I was just remembering, is John Rossman, where's John?
He's hiding.
He's hiding, okay. Well, he's one of the, oh, there he is. You didn't get by with it, John. One of the things that John is on our Associate Leadership Development Committee, and one of the things we talked about, besides doing something like I was mentioning, in really offering up like a program, if you will, for our ongoing development, is also to ask, we have already sent out, but we would like to revise and update a list of resources that we know that our communities could use when they gather. And so if you have any resources that you've used in your community or you think would be good, and that could be something like maybe something that we just saw today, if somebody's aware of something like that, or could even be a book or an article or whatever, but if you think would really would help that, then if you would let either me know or let John know. John's been kind of working, John will take care of that. He's been working with updating that list of resources, and then we will share it with all of our communities through our contact person. So, we know that there's a wealth of resources out there among all of us, and we just need to kind of find some ways to share that with one another.
This says in process, rather, but can you explain what the pastoral care committee being shaped up to be? It's the associate advisory board council on the process. Gone very far.
We talked about this a little bit last year, I think, at our assembly, and we talked about it, it kind of grew beyond what we had talked about at the board meeting. Actually, I put it back on the agenda for our next board meeting. And here's, I don't know how we'll develop this, but this is kind of like what's in my mind for it. I'm not talking about professional pastoral care or anything like that, but we have associates who live out there totally on their own, where there is no one, no other sister, no other associate around. We're trying to work a little bit with an online associate community. It's like, it's not the technology, it's us, But what did we do to connect with those people? What about our associates who are now in prayer witness? Who have been active for a very long time, but for health reasons or frailty or where they're living, no longer have somebody to connect with. So could we find some way? I mean, I do a little bit. I don't do enough, and I know that. And I know I'm probably not going to be able to do a whole lot more, but could we put together a group who would be interested in that? And I don't know what that would wind up looking like. But part of it could be, and some of our communities do that. They've had people who move away, and so the community kind of stays in touch. But that does not always happen. Or we've got the people in the nursing homes. Could we have a group who would send them cards, call them, just, let them know that they are still valued members of this community, still living out their commitment, even if they can't come to their associate community meetings or something like an assembly. So I would just like to see a group who would be interested in kind of developing something around that. And again, you don't need counseling skills and all that. That's not where we're going with it at this point. But can we find some ways, especially with those people who cannot on their own connect with them? That's kind of what we were have in mind. And so we will be talking about it some more. And again, if you're interested or have ideas, we would very much appreciate that.
years ago, there was an official status of association called per partners. And I know two women who are on that level, and it's official. They get a card. They didn't want to be associates, but they wanted to be connected, so they were considered prayer partners. And I just thought, is that status still in
We have
existence?
about 400, we'd like to get 400
Yes.
and let them know the needs and what's going on.
Okay, that might be something to communicate to the whole community, that there still is that level of association called prayer partners, perhaps.
She's asking about the online associate community. That we're just trying this out. This is for associates who are out there, and again, no one else around. So I had asked people if they were interested in it, and a little group was, and is. And Sister Marianne Hilderman actually is a sister who is part of that. The idea behind that was like at least monthly, we could do like a little sharing of the heart around whatever. And then also if there's anything, like if there's something that comes out of here that we might want to discuss, we could also do it that way. Sasha set it up for us. It's really simple, and that's what I asked for. You know, we have to have a lot of technological ability here. Just if we could do email, we could basically do it, and that's true. I think our process is not working so well, and I don't know exactly where to go with that yet. I think we're still figuring that out. It's like somebody will put a posting up. We tried about saying, well, we'll take turns doing it, and let's do it like the first week during the month, and then we send a little notice saying, okay, it's time. But not everybody gets on, or they forget it, or their email doesn't work, or their computer doesn't work, or whatever. So it's semi-successful, but it hasn't gotten to the point where it really needs to. And I suspect we're going to need something like that more and more because, we're just all over the place in a lot of ways, but geographically too.
Something like a hospitality committee, that doesn't have to be today, I maybe don't like that word, but that's all right. She said email and so forth, which is fine, but I think even a phone call, because most of us have phones, it doesn't cost money to call on. They are launchers. And I do remember, what was it, last year when we had the great big giant meeting, and I couldn't drive, I blacked out. And I called a couple of people who would be willing to give me a ride, but they had to pick up the sisters. So there was nothing for associates. I don't remember. Somebody actually did take me. It was a sister who lived rather close to me. So, I know that these situations come up. Maybe I'm really old right now. But no, I'm not that old. I'm getting to that phase, all right? So, I don't think these things are so bad. And I noticed that they have people taking the sisters who are at Nazareth to lunch or shopping or something like that. Well, even something like that would be nice. Or a movie or something, and it would make us more cohesive as I move out of things. No, I don't know. I'm not doing it.
Thanks, Carol.
I'd like to know if there's a way for our CSJ email to automatically be sent to our home
own personal email.
No.
I don't always.
It's not, no. We're not forwarding emails to personal email accounts for multiple reasons. Security is the biggest issue. With a lot of spam and email phishing, it's impossible to manage all of that.
I don't, okay.
She asked, the question was, we have our CSJ email forwarded to our first email. So I said no, because of the
You can
phishing
set it
and
up.
issues with security.
Yeah,
on that.
but-
I think that's what she was talking about.
It's just
Yeah.
too much to manage.
No other questions or suggestions out there? Oh, jump in anywhere, Mo.
I had a question about the finance committee. I like your money. Under the countess account, two things. One, I was surprised that there was no distribution this past year. And the second thing was, this account is available to associates to help defray their expenses to attend a CSJ event. Could that not be changed for ongoing education? I think sometimes people miss out on some really good programs because they just don't have the finances to either travel or to get there. And if I can put a plug in for White Violet Center, just happen to be doing the Pachamama Awakening the Dreamer workshop August 3rd. It's only $35 and it's just 3 hours from here. Or even better would be if a couple of the associates took the training to do these workshops and could go around. So that would, to me, would be a wonderful use of the Countess Fund. And I was wondering, there was only one donation made in 2012. I think maybe a little more education around that. I certainly would have liked to have helped on that, or our matrix group has started our own fund. Maybe we should turn it over to the Countess. Y'all come now.
This is a nice drive to Mo's place, so go that way. I'll put it on our advisory board as far as the education, and see what comes out of that one.
I'm new to this group, so when I'm looking at in process, May 2013, a reference to the year of prayer. Since we have a new associate group, are we supposed to be doing something about that? Because I don't know anything about it.
Associate finance.
Just exactly, I'm not exactly sure why it's there, but I think it's just the very process that Michelle explained at the very beginning of this weekend. You know, we've been working for more than a year, I guess, praying together and trying to see how we want to move together into the future as sisters and associates. This this June 1 to assembly is another year of doing that very thing. And so I think the committee is just affirming that, to explore our future together with the sisters of one another. Because one of those pieces of that future, present and future, is that we want to become financially self-sustaining. For the sake of the whole community, the sisters can't afford to continue to support us. And we're doing very well with that. I am so proud of us that this past year, for the first time, we did not cost the community 1 cent, and we've given beyond that. And that is without any financial obligation on the part of associates. That's people choosing to do that. So I just think it's certainly not the most important, but it is an important piece of our moving into the future together. And I think this is probably there just to kind of affirm that. Does that make sense to you, Jim?
I agree with Peggy on that one. Any more hands up? Did I miss you?
On the count, wasn't that based on paying for the pins? You had an original pin, you wanted to do pins.
I think Peggy has some. Peggy, she's asking about the pins, the replacement pins, just the
Oh, a replacement pin, is that what you're asking for?
Well, they weren't upgraded, they went to the old one.
Oh, yes. The present ones are given to new associates. That is their gift at the time that they make their initial commitment.
Right.
We could not, we had a committee that worked on this. The ones that some of us had, I think I had like 3 generations of these pins. The first ones were very inexpensive, but they were decent. The second ones, when they tried to remake them, they had to do them in plastic, and they literally fell apart. Literally, people were complaining about them all the time. So then we got a group together, and we had a generous donation from an associate, and so we were able to purchase a number of the pins that we now have. If you have lost a pin, or those who have the older pins, wonderful. They may have, some real significance for you. So using those is fine. If you want a new pin, the cost is $25. Now I would tell you that now, with the cost of silver having gone up, and is not. Whenever people were buying them, I was putting that money in a special account for pins to replace the pins. I just had to order another like 75 pins because we keep growing. And the price has gone up significantly. They now really cost about $30, but because of the price of silver sterling going up, but we we would still replace them for $25. So I do have some now. If somebody today just actually bought one because she had lost hers. And so we do have some for $25. But of course, we give them as part of the I'm sorry, Carolyn.
I said, I thought that's where the count was growing. Can't hear me? I'll get up.
No, that is not the county's account. There are only 2 restricted accounts for association. If you send money in for association, it doesn't come directly to us. It goes into development. But there are 2 restricted funds. One is the county's account that we've already talked about, and the second is the PIN account, and that's just we're putting money in there so we have some for the next time that we need to order.
Yeah, I think that my group had the old pin and I just paid the money beginners. But that was a couple of years ago, so.
Yeah, and you can use either one. Your old one might have some sentimental value for you that you don't want to give up.
Is there anything else out there? I don't see any more hands, how about if we adjourn until 4:30? Thank you.